Hey there, YouTube. The Zen Trekker, back at you here. I'm sure you've all been waiting anxiously for my next post, and so here it is. So as you know from my last video, I made the decision to leave Swift after my 1 week mentor experience. I did get a lot of experience during that week, 40 hours behind the wheel, a little over 2,000 miles driven, driving through some gale force winds, through mountains, the Cascades, the Shasta Mountains, a couple of 1,000-mile runs up to Grandview, Washington, up to Spokane, Washington. So did get a lot of experience. But ultimately, I decided to leave Swift and sign on with Schneider. And Schneider's training program is a whole lot different than Swift and most of the other carriers that take on new drivers. So let me tell you about my first 2 weeks with Schneider. So I left for Schneider on a Monday. I believe it was March 25th. Checked into the hotel. They put me up in the Comfort Inn right near, it was about 3 miles from the training center in Phoenix. The training center was located at their operating center. I think it's pretty much their only operating center in the Southwest. Yeah, it was a very nice operating center. They had a bunch of classrooms set up for us. Way in the back, they had a whole section of their yard sectioned off for the new driver training. And I do have to say, we started on Tuesday, which was March 26th, and they really had their stuff together. Basically Tuesday, we spent the whole day doing a lot of paperwork and like safety videos and medicals. We had to redo our DOT medical exam, and I had to do a physical agility test. So basically, depending on which account they hired you into, would depend on what types of physical agility exercises they have you do. Because I was hired on for a Dollar General account, and I'm going to be unloading my own trailer at all the stores when we make deliveries. I basically had to do the full gamut of physical agility tests. So after I finished my medical exam, I did fine with that. One thing that helped me, because I have high blood pressure, is I did bring a note from my doctor that basically said that my blood pressure is being addressed through medication, and he indicated the medication that I was on and that my blood pressure was in the acceptable range. And so when I had the medical exam done, the doctor was a little concerned about the blood pressure, but he took the note from my doctor, and he said, that I was good to go. So if you have that kind of issue, what my suggestion would be is, before you show up to training, go see your own personal doctor and make sure that your doctor provides you with a note that says whatever issue that you might have, whether it's cholesterol or blood pressure or anything like that it's being addressed. That definitely saved me on the medical. I got a 1-year medical from the Schneider doctor. Because of the blood pressure, we want to make sure that it's being addressed and checked every year, that I'm keeping it under control. So anyway, I did the physical agility test. They take your blood pressure, they take your heart rate, and then after each test, they measure your heart rate, and your heart rate has to be below whatever the indicated maximum heart rate needs to be. What they use is a formula where they take 220, they subtract your age, and multiply by 90%. So my maximum heart rate was 156. There were a couple of exercises that they had me do where I had to lift weighted milk crates. The heaviest one was 60 pounds plus the milk crate. You have to lift them off of a shelf and then lift them up to a high shelf, or lift them off the shelf, put them on the ground like doing a squat, and then let go, pick it up, put it back on the shelf, and you do it either 6 or 9 times. Then they measure your heart rate. The max my heart rate went to is about 126. So I was good to go. Most of the time my heart rate like stayed right at about 100, 105. I had checked out some YouTube videos to see what the physical agility test looked like. Actually, I think I went on to the Schneider website. The Schneider website has a little video that shows you the basic physical agility test. So I did some training for the test just to make sure that I was comfortable with it, and I was ready to go. I passed the physical agility testing with no problem. We finished up day 1 with a whole, lot of paperwork in the classroom. The rest of the 2 weeks was basically split half day in classroom and half day on the trucks. So in the classroom, we were doing a lot of, learning Schneider's expectations and procedures for everything that you're going to be doing on the truck, from e-logs to trip planning, to paper logs, to safety procedures, and all that. Everything that we learned in the classroom, we were tested on. There are also a lot of online videos. They have like this whole online university that you have to get logged into, and you go on there. Some of it you do in the classroom, a lot of it you had to do on your own time after your classes were done. I really kept up on it. So when we got to Saturday, that first week, which was testing day for a lot of the stuff we did in the classroom, I had already done all of my online work, and I did my 3 tests, passed them all, and I was done by like 12 o'clock on Saturday. Most of the other guys were there probably till about 3:30, 4 o'clock on Saturday. So another suggestion, if you do go to the Schneider training program that first week, get online and do those online videos and lessons like throughout the week so that you don't have to be stuck there all day Saturday. The other half of the day was the trucks, and basically the trucks was either in the yard, practicing backing, practicing coupling and uncoupling, moving tandems, pre-trip and post-trip and TIV inspections, and then also, of course, like taking the trucks out and driving. The focus of the driving was really pretty laser beam focused on local driving and making turns correctly. We spent a lot of time learning how Schneider expects you to make turns safely. There's a lot of focus on safety, a lot of focus on being real precise with those turns, so you're taking them wide enough that you're not crossing yellow lines, you're not touching curbs, you're not getting too close to cars that may be pulled up at intersections. At the same time, not taking them too wide, basically so that your tandems make that turn, with no more than like 3 to 5 feet, so that cars behind you can't sneak in when you're making the turn, because that creates danger as well. By the second week, our instructor was taking us to truck stops, taking us to some areas where we had to do some tight maneuvering, and really working diligently with us. I was assigned to essentially the same instructor. I actually ended up having 2 instructors, one the first week and one the second week, because one of the instructors was on vacation. But most of the trainees were assigned to one instructor for the full 2 weeks. So it was really good. So the instructors really got to know you, really got to know what you needed to work on, and really focus in on those aspects of your driving that needed to be improved. We did a lot of backing in the yard. Once the instructors were comfortable with me backing in the yard, we went to some truck stops and we did some backing at truck stops, as well as some coupling. Did a lot, every day you do a pre-trip. We did our pre-trips, TIVs, and post-trips at all the times that you would do them out in the real world. So it was really good. And it was a really positive experience. The second week was more of the same, half classroom, half on the trucks. And the second week was more of the trip planning, using workflow on the, they have a program called Workflow that they use on their Qualcomm. And then the last day of training, we also got some training on tablets, because Schneider's currently transitioning from the Qualcomm units over to tablets. So yeah, great experience. They really had it together. Everything was like super organized, well planned. They knew exactly what account I was supposed to be on. They adjusted a lot of the training to, give me some extra training in certain areas. Like Dollar General, there's a lot of like really tight backing in small parking lots. So the instructors gave us, some extra training with that type of stuff, tight quarters maneuvering, tight quarters backing, teaching us some like other type of backing maneuvers like a J-hook, working on like a real life type 90-degree backing that you might have to do. So all really good. So yeah, it was a great experience all in all. If you're thinking about going to Schneider, I highly recommend it. It's way different than, all the other carriers who basically, they throw you in a truck with a mentor for anywhere from 4 to 12 to 16 weeks, and they call it training. At Schneider, it's real training. So this week, I am reporting up to the Dollar General distribution center that I'm going to be assigned to. I'm going to be on a truck with what they call a training engineer, which is, some companies call them a mentor, some call them trainers. Schneider, they call training engineers, or TEs. So this TE has been working the Dollar General account for a long time, experienced guy. I spoke to him today. Sounds like a really cool guy. Gonna meet him tomorrow morning, and I'll be on the truck with him for anywhere from 5 to 7 days, running the Dollar General account. We'll be running concurrent clock, so our sleep and drive schedules will be concurrent, and I will be doing most of the driving, most of the backing, most of the delivering, half of the unloading. I think they split, you kind of do 50-50 unloading of the trailers, and then hopefully at the end of the week, I will be graded out by the TE and assigned a truck, and hopefully I'll be going solo by next week. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking in with me. If you're interested, my distribution center, which I'll be operating out of, is actually up in Lebec. Here in Santa Clarita, we call that that spot Tejon Ranch or Tejon Ranch. Anyway, it's like the other side of the Grapevine. As most of you know, if your friends or family, I live in Santa Clarita, which is on the south side of the Grapevine before you start heading up that hill. This distribution center in Lebec is right on the other side of the Grapevine, like right at the bottom of the hill. You get to the bottom of the hill, you look to your left, and there's a giant Dollar General distribution center. So that's where I'll be working out of. And looking forward to getting out on the road and learning what I need to learn to be able to go out solo and work this account and start working for real and start learning how to be a truck driver. So anyway, thanks for checking in. Thanks for listening. If you're a driver, be safe out there. Friends and family, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Students, shout out to everybody, and peace. See you on the other side.